second video that gives an overview this week. If you haven't already watched the video on what is a civilization, then you should go and watch that now and then come back to this video, which is a very quick overview of Mesopotamian culture. Now, Mesopotamia relied on floods for irrigation to allow for crops to be grown to support their civilization. These crops occurred every year between February and April. The Mesopotamians also practiced artificial irrigation to keep their crop yields high, and this supported a growing population. Now, you already see some characteristics here that I described as central to what we consider civilization. Having a solid food supply meant that people could have stable settlement. They didn't have to keep moving around, and this in turn, in time, allowed for a diversification in people's occupations. So, rather than solely focusing on food production, we instead have in Mesopotamia artisans, carpenters, metal workers and blacksmiths, scribes, since people could have time for intellectual pursuits. There was a big civil service running the government, and also many priests. The largest and most diverse cities of this time period appeared in Mesopotamia after 4000 BC. This is when food production was greatest, and so many people could live close together. In Mesopotamia, religion was of central importance. Mesopotamians believed that gods controlled life, and so it was essential that correct protocol was followed. This led to the formation of a priestly class. To go back to cities, the basis of civilization in Mesopotamia was the city-state. This is a theme we're going to come back to several times over this course. At the center of a city was a temple. Mesopotamian city-states were viewed as earthly copies of a divine model. The extreme conditions and weather easily convinced the Mesopotamians that they were at the mercy of supernaturals. This meant that priests and priestesses were very important, as they were the means of communication between the people and the gods. Some think that they were even so important that they had a position in ruling politically. This would have made Mesopotamia a theocracy. This is a technical term that means government or rule by divine authority. Because the temples were so important in Mesopotamia, this led to the invention of writing sometime between 3400 and 3200 BC. This form of writing in Mesopotamia is called cuneiform. This is called this because of its wedge shapes. It was used by very highly trained scribes, so that means that not everybody in this culture would have been able to read and write. And actually, literacy is a pretty recent phenomenon. Most people couldn't read and write until pretty recently. Now, I say Mesopotamia, but it was actually many cultures, including Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. Sometimes Mesopotamian is used just to mean Sumerians. Overall, there were many migrations of people to this area. As you could see on the previous map, how fertile it is, it's the green part that led to the name the Fertile Crescent. It's the Sumerians that are credited with bringing writing to Mesopotamia. What are other important features of Mesopotamian society, apart from writing and religion though? There's several. For example, there were different schools. And this even included female scribes, so some women were taught to read and write. In these schools, they didn't just write, they translated, including Sumerian into Akkadian. They worked out mathematical problems, including multiplication and division tables, right-angled triangle areas. They divided a circle into 360 degrees, and they practiced astronomy. So, these are many things that we take for granted today that we can thank the Mesopotamians for. Another thing we can thank them for are the development of law codes. I'm going to come back to a very quick video about the importance of these law codes next.